Once in a blue moon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, this is a story about a lonely song. I mean, this song just had one melody that said, "Take me to the bridge." The melody actually started to jump, but it didn't. Instead, it faced the music and gave it a name. The melody named the music the USB port. No, not exactly a computer connection port, but a universal serial bus that everyone can ride. You know, it's the United States of the blues, and we all live here. You know, it's the land of the free and the home of the brave. I mean, this USB is a bluesocracy port, a bluegasm so exquisite, so total, baby. It's a complete connection to everything and everyone. And like the moon, it changes so constantly, so jump on, baby. Let's wax and wane together.
Hi, everybody. Miss Blue here. Usually I'm like outside in front of a building in the wind. But today I'm in front of my 125-gallon fish tank. It's a passion of mine. And it's like I have paradise in my living room. I love it. And I love them. And this might seem crazy, but it seems to me that fish have such unique and wonderful personalities. Now, if you're not a fish person or you don't have an aquarium or something like that, that might sound totally bizarre. And I notice it's the same way with if you're an animal lover, if you have a dog, the dog practically can speak to you at times. Communicate with an animal that's just unbelievable. And if you shared that information with somebody that did not have a dog or had any kind of affinity with an animal, would think you're totally out of your mind. But for all of you out there who have dogs and cats and birds and fish and whatever else you might have out there that you just have this connection with, you know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely amazing. And even fish. I have such a connection with these guys. I tell you, when Hurricane Sandy, which is a little over a month ago, happened, when the lights went out at this apartment, I learned something very, very important, and I want to share it with you today. It took me 10 years to get to know exactly what goes on with a person that has a passion for an aquarium and the fish, and you lose a lot of fish, and you get a fish and you lose a fish, and as soon as you get the water like you think you want it, something goes awry, and the next thing you know, they get some kind of crazy fish disease called ick or whatever else they have. Then you get medicine to try to cure them, and if whatever was ailing them doesn't kill them, the medicine kills them, because maybe the medicine will help this fish but kill another fish, which is saying what's medicine for one person is poison for another. Just like us. So it's taken me 10 years, and it's not that I've arrived, I'm still learning. And I just learned something very, very important just recently. Now I'm thinking, I know the pH balance is right, because I check it. I vacuum the gravel, so I keep that pretty clean. They have bubbles coming up, because that's what they're supposed to have, is filters to keep all the debris out and help keep the water pretty clean. So when these lights went out here, of course it was like, oh no, we've been hit. How long are we going to be without power? And I thought about the fish. I said, well, at least they're going to be okay. So I thought. And then after a while, with all the candles and everything, I noticed that the first thing that started to die, that I noticed was dying, was the fish. They were all going up toward the top and gasping for air. And I'm thinking, what is the problem? They should be all right. They're in their habitat. They're in their water. Everything's fine for them. That's us who can't turn the fan on because it's too hot, or the air conditioner, or we have to read by candlelight or whatever. So what's the problem here? And I found out that they need oxygen. I mean, in a different way. And they get oxygen from the water. They get oxygen, the bubbles are making oxygen in the water, and somehow or another they're able to get that oxygen in their system, and their gills is what pushes the water out. But they are surviving by oxygen in this water. Who knew? Now, I'm sure if a person studies and is a scientist and studies all this thing about fish, like, that's a no-brainer. But for somebody like me who love fish, I didn't know that. So the next thing I know, my husband and I got rubber poles that we use to take the water out. And there we are blowing, trying to make, because we had to go out and find a place that further up where we live, we call it the coffee zone, that still had lights, and Google this to find out what's going on with the fish, and that's how I learned this. So we came back and they said, let some of the water out, because then if you let it out as low as it can go, they will stir around and make their own oxygen. That will help. And then blow in the water, and you blow every so many hours, like an hour, you take turns blowing and producing bubbles for them. And it was a whole thing about saving the fish in the water, putting oxygen in this water. So what happened was, one of my main parrotfish, these orange fish, they're called parrots. And we've named them. Tigress was her name. The biggest one in there, she was the first one to go. Then a discus. And I'm just don't know what to do. And I know that when you're thinking about other people, everywhere was having problems. No matter where you live, we were all afraid of what was going to happen next. But everybody's personal tragedy and personal pain is their personal pain. There's no big and little. It's your pain, it's my pain, it's what is paining me at the time. This was a heavy thing during Hurricane Sandy for me. I know people lost lives and lost their children and lost their homes. And it's hard sometimes to wrap my mind around it if I was in that position. But I do know how I felt about losing my fish. Then I order overnight an automatic bubbler, a battery-run bubbler. Now, the bubbler itself only costs $20, but it costs $50 to overnight it. And I'm thinking, okay, we can keep this going, and then as soon as we get this battery-operated bubbler, we'll be safe. But what happened was, as soon as the bubbler got into New York City, because of the storm, it got stuck in Jamaica. And we live here in the city in Manhattan. Couldn't get it till 2 days later. So we're still. So I called the people up and said, the bubbler is stuck in Jamaica, and the people are saying, well, we did everything that we could do. It's out of our hands. And they gave us information. Something that I never would have thought about. They said, first of all, get peroxide. Do you have any peroxide? You know that brown bottle, it's dark. The reason why they keep it dark is so sunlight can't hit it, and it'll stay potent. And every 11 milliliters, you put so much in, and that will produce some kind of oxygen in the water. It will make oxygen in the water and help keep them alive. Now, this is a whole chemistry, scientific thing. I didn't care. I went, I did it, it worked. And the good news, only 2 fish I lost where I found out that the fish stores all over the city lost a lot of fish. And people who had, I have freshwater fish that have very expensive saltwater tanks, lost a lot of their fish. Now, the thing that's so important that I want to share, and it's sort of a metaphor, whether the sadness of the people, I'm a mother of 3, my children are grown, but for me to try to wrap my brain around what I would feel like or think, or how could I be able to handle and stay alive myself if something as tragic happened to my children as what happened to those children in Connecticut. I don't know. You don't know about these things until you're in them. But I realized, I thought about it, like the fish, as much as I love the fish, I still love them my way. I still did not take the time out to find out what they needed from me long before the lights went out, because I love them. I love them because they bring peace to my living room, and I look at them and I love the colors. But I love them, but yet I didn't know this thing about how much that they needed to get, and they get their oxygen out of the water. I didn't know that about them. I just knew what they did for me. I never stopped to think what they really needed from me to learn of them. And I think about that with the parents who have lost children. So many times those children were brought into their lives to bring happiness among the husband and the wife. We have a child and not really know they knew some of the things that they did, but so many times, myself being guilty, we have loved ones in our life and we love them because of what they do for us, how they make us feel, how they comfort us, and we never stop to think what it is that they really need from us. Since I love them, may I love them, may I love these fish enough to find out what they really need from me. From me. What do they really need from me, since I love them so much? I need to learn about them. I need to know more about them. I need to learn about the world that I live in. I need to learn more about love and why I love something. Am I loving it because what it does for me? Or am I loving it because it's an opportunity for me to learn of it and give it or them or her or him what they need to make them happy? Today is December the 20th. I'm sorry, the 19th. Tomorrow will be the 20th. And the next day after that will be December 21st. That's the day that a lot of people are freaking out thinking that the world is going to end. I just saw a video on Facebook, a concert about the world is, as we know it, is going to end, and I feel just fine. And for me, the operative word is the world is going to end as we know it. And I feel just fine. I think and believe that all the things that are happening in the world, global warming has a lot, if not everything, to do with it. Bubbling over oceans because we've taken. We love the ocean. We love what the ground has in it that does this, and the cars that we drive that does this and that. And, we love it so much, but we never love it enough to find out what our world is asking of us that we need in order to make it happy and healthy, so we all can coexist and be happy and healthy together, like the fish. They had to let me know what they need from me in order for me to continue to be happy that they're there, here, this close to me, in the water, making me happy because I've made them happy, giving them and learning of them everything that they need. Oh, this stuff is so amazing. The world as we know it, meaning being blind, we are being forced to see what this planet Earth, what Mama Earth is saying to all of us. We are being forced to say, look, this is what we need. We need to take the guns away from people who have mental health problems. We need to have a system that will allow people who have mental health to be taken care of, really taken care of. We need to not be afraid of big groups of people who have guns for all the wrong reasons, and it's because of their fear of other people who are not like them, who don't believe as they do, who don't share their same religious ideas. Fear. And all the guns in order not just to shoot animals, which I do not dig, but to shoot people. Fear. And fear begets fear. And love begets love. I really believe we are in a time where it's time that we have to start thinking, what is it that this world, that the people in this world is saying that we need to do in order for us to be happy, safe, sound, joyous, free on this planet. And we got to start asking the right questions. May not have the answers, but we won't get the right answers if we don't ask the right questions. In 1999, something like this was happening just before the year 2000. Oh, there were rumors out that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And if it's not the end of the world, we're going to get pretty close to it, the year 2000. Even one of my favorite artists had a song out called 1999, Prince. Let's party like it's 1999. Oops, the world's ended. Let's party like it's 1999. The Democrats, the truth about Bill and Hillary, and we both can see what an asset Bill Clinton has been for the Obama administration. And if all goes well, it would sure be nice for Miss Hillary to become our first female president. And I shared about those things because they were saying that they're split up, and I'm saying no, they are interdependent, and they have proven that. I just want to say this before I go, that the world is not going to end. What is going to happen and what is happening is super awareness of what it means to love this planet we live on, to love the animals that are on this planet that we share, to love our neighbor, to love our husbands and wives, to love our children, to protect them, to not give teachers guns to protect them. We are having to find out what are the right, not answers, what are the right questions. Now, on Friday, December 21st, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing. Because I live in this wonderful country called America, and because in America it is the world with every nationality, every group of people from all over, every part on this planet are all right here in New York City. If I get on the train, I'm riding with at least 10 to 15 or more nations. And we're all free to have whatever religion or belief that we choose to have. And I was born into Christianity. My family was African Methodist Episcopal. But in my heart, I have always felt I had and I have a Jewish heart. And because I've been following my heart all of these years, on the 13th of this month, December the 13th, I had the most wonderful experience of going in the water. It's called, in the Jewish religion, the mikvah, where you dunk twice and say a couple of prayers, actually 3 times. And then on the 21st, the day that so many Christians are saying that the world is going to end and the rapture is going to come and they're going to be taken away and all the bad people or the people that killed Jesus or whatever way they want to say is going to be destroyed. That day is the day that I will be presented at the temple, at the synagogue, as a person that has joined the religious faith and family of the Jewish people. My Hebrew name is Esther. And I can do that because I follow my heart, even though maybe even in an unorthodox way I think I might have been Jewish in another life. I don't know. But I know that here in America, if my heart says, I want to practice this religion or that religion or no religion at all, atheist, I have that right. So I'm excited about December 21st. I'm excited that I have a wonderful friend and artist that's going to be playing Freedom is the Word on that day as I tell my story about my Jewish heart in front of the congregation at the synagogue. I'm going to stop there. And I bid you love and peace because that's what's happening now. The earth, Mama Earth, she's screaming out, we must love. We must have peace. We must stop this madness of hate and racism and sexism, war against women, and wanting to make institutionalized poverty for those that are already struggling. The world is saying to us we must stop it. We are all equal. We all are breathing from the one Creator that created us all. God bless you. Miss Blue here. And thank you for this opportunity if you're listening to me. That's it for now.